Saw what kind of monster rips a disabled child's nails off with pliers just to enforce a neighborhood rule? Saw that's the question I kept asking myself, sitting in the emergency room, holding my 7-year-old daughter's bandaged hand as she whispered through tears, "Daddy, am I broken?" Those words cut deeper than any wound. My little girl, Lily, wasn't just hurt, she was shattered, and the woman responsible had no idea who she was messing with. I'm a deputy commissioner, and nobody hurts my daughter and walks away. Let me take you back to how this nightmare unfolded. My name's D.V.Y.D. Rivera. 3 years ago, my world crumbled when my wife, Emily, passed from a sudden aneurysm. It left me raising Lily alone. Lily was born with cerebral palsy, which means she uses a wheelchair and faces challenges most kids don't. But let me tell you, she's a spark of joy, creative, stubborn in the best way, and kinder than anyone I've ever met. We moved to Greenhaven Estates for its top-notch schools and wheelchair-friendly setup. Most neighbors were amazing, dropping off lasagna or lending a hand when my job kept me late. Our next-door neighbor, Mrs. Harper, became Lily's after-school buddy, picking her up when I was stuck at the county office. Everything was fine until Pamela Grayson took over as HOA president 6 months ago. Pamela, a former realtor with flawless auburn hair and a fake smile, ran on, elevating property values and upholding standards. Sounds nice, right? Except her standards meant making life hell for anyone who didn't fit her cookie-cutter VY shown. From the moment she moved in, she had it out for us. First, it was a notice about our grass being a 1/4 inch too long. Then she whined about Lily's rainbow wine spinners being too loud. The kicker? She slapped us with a citation for the wheelchair ramp we'd built, calling it an unapproved alteration. I tried reasoning with her, showed her Lily's medical papers, even pointed out that blocking disability accommodations breaks federal law. Pamela just smirked and said, "Rules are rules, Mr. Rivera. No exceptions." I should have pushed back harder. Maybe then I could have stopped what happened that awful Tuesday in April. That morning, I got called to deal with a water main break downtown. Before I left, I kissed Lily goodbye and told her I'd be late. I reminded Mrs. Harper that Lily was excited to paint her nails after homework. Nail art was Lily's thing. It made her feel like other girls, something she could do despite her hands not always cooperating. Around 3:30 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was Mrs. Harper, her voice shaking. "D.V.Y.D., get home now. That HOA woman hurt Lily. There's blood." My stomach dropped. I didn't wait for details. I bolted, Leah VYing my deputy to handle the crisis. My heart was hammering so hard I could barely see straight. When I burst through the door, the sight stopped me cold. Lily was curled on the couch, sobbing in this quiet, broken way that wasn't like her. Mrs. Harper sat beside her, clutching a bloody towel around Lily's hand. "What happened?" I choked out, dropping to my knees by Lily. Mrs. Harper looked like she'd seen a ghost. "It was Pamela Grayson. She came to inspect the yard. I stepped inside to use the bathroom for Saul 1 minute Saul. Lily was on the patio, painting her nails. When I came back..." She stopped, tears welling. "She had your toolbox open, D.V.Y.D. She was using pliers saw on Lily's fingers, saying the nail polish broke HOA rules and hurt property values." I couldn't process it. Pliers? On my daughter? Mrs. Harper's voice dropped to a whisper. "She pulled at Lily's nails. 2 are torn." Lily was screaming, but Pamela kept saying she was enforcing standards. I looked at Lily, who seemed so small, so fragile. "Is this true, baby?" She nodded, her lip trembling. "She said I was messy and making the neighborhood ugly. She said my nails were against the rules." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "It hurts, Daddy." Rage like I'd never felt before surged through me, but Lily needed me first. I scooped her up and sped to the ER Dogpile Hospital. The doctor who saw her was kind but visibly shaken. 2 of Lily's fingernails were partially ripped from the nail beds, bleeding and raw. They'd heal, but it'd take weeks, and the scars would stay. He took photos for the records, his hands steady but his jaw tight. That's when Lily looked up at me, her eyes glassy, and asked, "Daddy, am I broken?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No, sweetheart. You're perfect. It's the world that's messed up sometimes." On the way to the hospital, I called the police. The officer who showed up was casual at first. "Sounds like an HOA spat," he said, shrugging. I pulled out my county ID. "I'm D.V.Y.D. Rivera, Deputy Commissioner for this county. This wasn't a spat, it was assault on a disabled child. I'm pressing charges." His face changed fast. "Yes, sir. We'll need statements from you, your daughter, and your neighbor." By morning, Pamela Grayson was in cuffs. Neighbors said her jaw dropped when the cops showed up. "Do you know who I am?" she snapped. The officer didn't blink. "Yes, ma'am. You're the woman who assaulted Deputy Commissioner Rivera's disabled daughter." Word spread like wildfire. By nightfall, our porch was buried in flowers, cards, and casseroles. Mr. Larson, a guy I barely knew, offered to mow our lawn weekly. Mrs. Chin, a retired nurse, helped with Lily's bandages. Even Pamela's husband, Tom, showed up, eyes red. "I didn't know she was capable of this," he mumbled. "I'm filing for divorce. I can't stay with someone who'd hurt a kid." The HOA board held an emergency meeting and booted Pamela unanimously. The new president, Mr. Alvarez, voided all our citations and proposed bylaws to protect disabled residents. But the real surprise was Lily. 3 days later, as I dabbed ointment on her fingers, she said, "Daddy, I feel bad for Mrs. Grayson." I blinked. "Why, baby?" She frowned, thinking hard. "She must be really sad inside to be so mean outside." I didn't know whether to cry or marvel at her heart. The legal hammer dropped fast. Pamela faced charges for assault on a minor, child endangerment, and ADA violations. She tried arguing that Lily's unauthorized nail polish hurt property values. The judge wasn't how-vying it. "Property values don't trump human decency or the law," he snapped. Pamela took a plea: community service at a disability center, anger management, and a 500-foot restraining order from Lily and our home. Our CIVYL suit won a big settlement, which I put in a trust for Lily's future care. Greenhaven changed after that. The HOA is still around, but it's run by a diverse committee, including parents of disabled kids. They started a program where volunteers help with yard work or repairs for families like ours. Their first project? A sensory garden in the park, with wheelchair-accessible paths and raised beds so Lily could garden. Pamela moved away post-divorce, but Tom stayed, volunteering at Lily's school and pushing for better accessibility. "I have to make this right," he told me. "For Lily and the community I let my wife tear apart." 6 months later, Lily's nails have grown back, though one has a permanent red hair reminder of that day. But something else grew too, a community that feels like family. Yesterday, I watched Lily in the garden, teaching kids how to plant marigolds, her nails painted gold to match the flowers. "Look, Daddy," she called, while vying dirt-streaked hands. "I'm growing happiness." Parents smiled, and Mrs. Harper gave me a thumbs up. That night, as I tucked Lily in, she asked, "Are you still mad at Mrs. Grayson?" I thought hard. "I'm mad about what she did, but I'm focusing on the good that came after." She nodded. "Like my garden and my new friends and the nice rules." "Exactly," I said. As she drifted off, she mumbled, "Sometimes bad stuff happens so people see what needs fixing." Lily's right. As deputy commissioner, I used to think rules were everything. But she showed me rules without heart are just cruelty. Now I review every policy asking, how would this affect someone like Lily? The HOA's notices don't threaten anymore, they offer help. At the garden's grand opening, Lily cut the ribbon, and the crowd cheered. Mr. Alvarez gave her a plaque. "For teaching us community is about caring for our most vulnerable." Lily grinned, radiant. On the way home, she said, "Daddy, I think I fixed something broken." "What's that?" I asked. "Our neighborhood. It was broken, but now it's not. She's right. Before Pamela Grayson hurt my daughter, Greenhaven was just houses. Now it's a true neighborhood where differences are embraced, where Lily thrives without fear. I still wake up from nightmares about that day, imagining worse outcomes. But then I hear Lily laughing, her strength drowning out my dread. Pamela thought she could break my girl. She didn't get that Lily's power isn't in her body, it's in her soul. And souls like hers don't break. They grow, they heal, they change everything. Sometimes, the tiniest hands spark the biggest revolutions. Sometimes, a 7-year-old with cerebral palsy shows a whole community what it means to be neighbors.